everyone, welcome to our table talk. I am Batuleya, bringing you a conversation by Success Capital together with AIDS Foundation South Africa. I am with Etty and Camps. Camps, let's discuss the state of abortion in Botswana.
Hello everyone, my name is Camps. Thank you, Vato.
Welcome.
Well, abortions. For a long time, we have always had myths about abortions. We've had our own point of views as the society, community at large, religious aspects, and everybody, the government, health workers, everyone has their own view when it comes to the word abortion. But well, I just want to say to people, abortion is termination of pregnancy before 20 weeks of gestation. Abortion is not something that is very bad. Like people say, abortion can be something it's unplanned for. It comes all spontaneous. Every woman can have an abortion. It's not like it's not like that abortion, the word abortion is associated with.
Oh,
yes.
I think that's the new information. What do you think?
It is definitely
because when you talk abortion, we are thinking you did something wrong, you were irresponsible, you killed a person, and that is not relatable. I get it.
So today, I just want to tell you about abortion. Like anything that can lead to a pregnancy or a headache, and it can be in our country right now. We all understand, we all know, and we are all aware that abortion is not legalized.
Yes,
I get it. You cannot just, as 8 years pregnant as you are, you cannot just stand up and say, go to the facility and say about abortion in our country. It is not yet legalized, but in other countries we see that happening because of reasons being known to our governors and rulers, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But tell any woman, had your pregnancy not been where you are right now, or had you been any pregnancy before the 24th week of gestation, ebe e senyega hela ka bo yone, e ka senyega e ka tswa ele rona re e ka tswa motho ele ena a dirile which we term induced. Abortion, but to rule out all the myths and those speculations and everything surrounding the word abortion ke so se ileng gore se kgona go itira mmele wa mosadi o kgona go rejecta ngwana kana boimana ka bo bone bo kgona go takana go ileng gore ga ise siamele mmele e be gore la gore boimana bo ga senyega mosadi yo e se gore ke ena a sentse mpa. That is also called abortion. What is currently happening in our health system right now is that we're losing a lot of women with COVID-19. I think we all know that the statistics of maternal deaths it just grew, compared to other years. Last year we reported I don't know how many, but it was a higher number of maternal deaths, and most of these deaths are due to unsafe abortions. Yes, any woman who dies while pregnant is counted as a maternal death, and maternal death is something that is being reported even to the WHOs. So what is happening currently in our country is that no matter how much we try, because abortion is not legal, no matter how much we try to provide information on contraception, so forth, etc., we still find a lot of people committing abortions and unsafe abortions. They go into sepsis, they get infections, they bleed a lot, PPH, anemia, we name them, infections, and we lose a lot of lives. It's a Christian-based country. We have education, we have service providers, we have you name them all. But the policy still says no abortion in our country, and what is the consequences of that? We are losing people still,
Yes.
even at the expense of all these things being provided. But we still find our young people, even not young, even not young, but majority of people are still going for unsafe abortions. Right now what is happening, we see that we do have people selling pills everywhere.
Yes.
It's still not illegal. You wouldn't know where they are getting them from, but it is there. It is there in the market, in the black market. We see them coming to the hospital, some having inserted themselves cytotech. Where do they get the cytotech? It's there, they buy it. It's there available. It's just in their reach.
So
apart from the cytotext. But okay, at least now we have cytotext. They do get cytotext even though it's still illegal. But before we'd find people but what do you call this? But they drank a lot of
the herbs.
The spirit.
Some they say they used to boil cocoa.
A lot of bad things that led to infections, that led to some electrolyte imbalances in their bodies, eventually death.
Ke kopanile a client. That client then it ended up ke condom a blaster.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I was not having a friend. I've got this situation. I was alone. I was 21.
All right.
I was afraid. Then I decided take the ring, abortion, alone. Ke dirisa mo go teng go bidiswa ma 5 tab.
Oh.
Ke nna ka bidisa ma 5 tab. Ga ka diragala. And that thing go no go disturba mo go direng tirong ya me. I was not able to go to the clients because of that pregnancy. And it ended up getting now 5 months. Yeah. In that 5 months, I'm losing. I cannot gore ke ta itshetsa ka eng ga ke kgone go bona di clients ke nna hela mo lapeng ke iphithile ga ke na opo ka nthusang gore ke this solution ke dire yang. I end up ke kopa mongwe yo le gore na ke utlwaletse go tewa o rekisa dipilisi. And then I go there le ke ampolela gore nya wa go dira this and this and this. Do tse tsana di mpolelela. I did that. Gore o tsenya dipilisi ka go sa ding go dira halana. Me mo abortion yam I didn't go well. It was very sad because ke na ka lose a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Le tharine ganella go tswa mo teng. Mo lora I end up kya spatele.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And go spatele no go se molemo. By that time 2015. Go spatele they judge you. Nurse, why did you do this? You know, when you're in pain, you are losing the blood or no. Yeah, no, that thing all of a sudden. Hey, also this. Then I end up over Tom to say I end up give us small thing. For ki dirile yana direle yana. E ba re news ka thalo boelela. Ke na ka tshala 3 liters.
Wow.
Zamat. That's my story.
When I was still a police officer, we had a situation where we had to go and remove a crying baby from a pit latrine. We could not remove the baby from the pit latrine because the hole was so shallow. We had to break at the back of the trailer so that that child could come out. And it was June, it was very cold. We took the child to the hospital near here and the child was removed. And the people who were attending that child, the man cried. I asked him, why are you crying? He said, you know what, I've been married for 24 years. I don't have a child. But look, now I'm taking the child from the pit latrine. So these are issues that makes me to go back to my career that I quit 5 years back. That we attended issues like this whereby you can pick a child next to the river. You can pick a child on the doorpost of somebody. You can pick the child in the toilet. And we picked a lot of kids in the toilet. When you try to trace and ask the mother, if at all you can get to trace the mother, because most of them, they drop and they go. When I was still working at Parape Police, we picked a child from the dustbin. Even right now, I still have a phobia of looking at my dustbin because there was a time we were just passing, we packed the car, we were going to Parape Police, and we saw a child in the dustbin. So that thing is lingering in my memory, is lingering in my mind for the longest time ever.
As males, I usually talk of male involvement, where I speak to a male and say to him, we have to be involved in the care of our children. Either I'm in support or not in support of safe or unsafe abortion. I will want to speak in regard to unsafe abortion and say, we might not be willing or supporting it under certain parameters, but of course legally there are those measures that we do support it. So in the event that a child is conceived, medically we talk of viability as a period after 24 weeks. So before 24 weeks, there's an exception medically to say before 24 weeks, then there's no viability, that there's life. So under those grounds, I will speak and say no. If the pregnancy is a result of those measures that are listed under the guidance of our policies of this country, then yes, I'll say it's okay. Still, like I've highlighted, that there are instances where theologians will say when you have a baby, she has the right to life. But if at all we choose to label sin and choose not to label it some way, firstly, sex before marriage on its own is a sin. So if we decide to jump the equation and get to a point where we are now talking about a born child and neglect the variables, that what happened before an element of a child being born, that is, a sin occurred there, and another product of a sin occurs again. So I think we are only choosing the part where the end product of a sin committed, because you find that if you are ready mentally, it's really hard for you to think of abortion, because people who abort mostly are those that look into their socio-economic environments, they look into their ill health, they look into things like maybe the readiness.
That the laws actually enabled safe abortion, do you think you would have a very different perspective?
If initially the laws allowed for a safe abortion,
Yes.
I will somehow stand to support the law and say, because when it is done safely, it's tend to protect even the maternal deaths, the number of deaths that will happen because of unsafe abortion. So I'll stand to say no. If the laws allow it, then there we are to protect the nation. There we are to protect the girl child or a woman, which I think the bigger picture should be to safeguard the lives of the woman. Mm-hmm. Either she committed an error or not an error, because after all, life lost is lost, regardless of whether it was an error or intentionally meant. I think it's never intentionally meant to destroy your own life, but you do abortion because you have reasons why you are doing it, and sometimes you find that the law does not favor you.
Okay, well, hamaragonyana ke araba khanya ga Methandi yena I bua ene ya unsafe abortion. Tota nako tse dingwe gore re helle like bone the young girls gore ba helle ba dire ene unsafe abortion. Go nna nako tse dingwe ke tsela gore ke ebe le buitsemeja gore gone mo ta gore re a ngwa go phua ka mpa o go togetse ka mpa yana gore o hita lo ena o hella ke dikakanyo ipotsa gore gore gate go dirang ka ngwana ga ona la ile kganyengwe e leng gore o ka akanya gore mme kana ngwana o nka mo khipa kana ngwa tsoga ile ena tsoga ntshetsa ka motso ba borre a ba tse boikarabelo hela ba bone gore ha ile gore o imisitse mpho o nkimisitse gore a nne le nnela go ite a nthokomele gore kana a le ke ka bojoti a ka nyela gompieno ke nna ke boetse go mara go a kera ke mo ya gago ke nna 9 months ga ke na la ile gore tebe ke ipotsa gore gate go reka diaparo tsa ngwana ka eng ga ke bereke ke masego ga ke bereke ga ke na la ile gore ga ke na la ile income e leng gore ya tsena ta segang mo ke hella ile gore an khantele ko hella ke dira dikgantse di sanna sente a borre ba eba ka dinao ba thokomele bana ba bona ha motho a go imisitse a thokomele ngwana.
If the baby has been conceived, I will urge men to say no, support support the actions you have done, because already you have done a mess, so stand for your mess.
How do we guide Batsadi, especially those parents who are too busy, those parents who find themselves in difficult situations where there's poverty, they find themselves in difficult situations where they can't care for their kids, and their kids find themselves in an unfortunate situation of being pregnant?
Ya ke a leboga dumi le one kganya batsadi e leng gore mo bone the young girls kana ba ima kana ba reng a batsadi na go tsedimo ba re nne le bana ha ba tsere bueng gongwe ke le ke ka ditsela tsotlhe ke more ke reng ya ngwana kana sore ha o imile ana ke bophuto ke phelo ya lehatsi gona le ditsela tse e leng gore ngwana wa gola o boela go sekele ngware go bona tota ela go rra ba thokomeleng bana ba bona.
Success Capital organization in collaboration with AIDS Foundation South Africa, discussing the social determinants to unsafe abortion in Botswana. My name is Demiso. Thank you for joining us.